So as part of our previous two classes, we have discussed about SAP sales document type configuration. That is SAP SD, SAP SD module, sales document type configuration control settings. When I say sales document type configuration control settings, we understood it is a configuration. Sales document type definition or sales document type maintenance is a configuration activity, right? It is a configuration activity. So just to tell you one important thing, uh, the difference between configuration and the master data. The difference between master data and the configuration is there are a couple of there are a couple of differences. In other words, I can explain the differences. I can explain the difference between sales document type. No. I can explain you the difference between configuration and master data by giving different examples. Okay, by giving the different examples. For example, let me put it here. Okay, I think we have our own SD sheet, right? Okay. So let me explain you the master data and the configuration. What is configuration? What is master data? Basically, if I get into the system, so if I get into the system,
We can't see the screen. I think.
really? That's fine. Thank you. Where is the screen option? Screen. Okay. So now I'm in SAP SD or SAP CC. SAP CC. Basically, ECC is Enterprise Central Control Component. That means it is system level, and in which we have different modules like SD module, MM module, PP module, HR module, FI module, controlling module, and plant maintenance module, quality management module, customer service module, project system module. There are different modules. Like here, for example, if you go to the logistics area, you see that materials management, sales and distribution, logistics execution, production planning. Okay, these are all the modules available in the logistics area. If we go to the accounting, you see that financial accounting, controlling, the project systems, finance related modules. And if you go to the human resources, you can see that HR related module like personal management, time management of the employees, payroll management of the employees, so learning solution for the employees, okay, your HR management. So like this, these are all the modules available in this system. What is this system? This is called ECC, Enterprise Central Component. Okay. So here the point is, now I'm trying to make you understand what is master data and what is the configuration. So basically, the main difference is master data is the system specific. System specific. For example, so what is the easiest way? If I create, okay, if I create a customer master, okay, okay. So if I save it, customer found with the same address, okay. So it is asking me to enter the data, all important data. We can enter, not a problem. Okay. Now if I save it, okay, the customer master was created, correct? Vijay, the customer master was created. Vivek, right? The customer 1229 was created. So,
Yes.
like you know that SAP system landscape, right? So we have like any other ERP or like any other software systems. We have development system, right? Development system, and then we have quality system, and then what we have?
Sure.
We have production system. Okay. Okay. Again, now I'm trying to explain you the difference between the master data and the configuration, how it works in SAP. Okay. So for that, in order to make you understand, I was explaining like the SAP system landscape. That is SAP system, the typical. It is not that every client, it is not that every company or every client having the same landscape, or it is not that every company is having only 3 systems. Sometimes they might be having like, it is like this. Sometimes they might be having development system, and then they might be having quality system, and then they might be having UAT system. That means for users, for allowing the users to test, just for users testing activity, user acceptance testing, UAT. That means to allow the users test before you deploy to the production. Some clients having separate system for UAT, like for users. Okay, and then they might be having the production system. Okay, like development system and then quality system, where we test, and then you ask the users to test in their own system, and you found good, and the users found good, then you deploy the changes to the production. Okay, then you deploy the changes to the production. That means the real system, you move the changes to real system. Sometimes you know what happens, some clients having the more like typical, I mean, in the sense, a complicated landscape. Like they have development system, they have quality system, that is quality assurance or quality system, and then they have UAT system. Okay, and also they have pre-production system. Like it's always copy of production, because, and then they have the production system. So the reason is, so if you want to test any scenario, if you want to test generally, like if you want to test all the scenarios, whatever the requirements, whatever the projects you are doing, whatever the enhancements you are doing, whatever the work you are doing, okay, if you want to test it, like sometimes you may not find the data in UAT, you may not find the data in quality, you may not find the data in development. That means for the given requirement, for the project what you are doing, for the project requirement what you are doing, that it may not be available in 3 systems. That's why sometimes what they do, they have some companies, they have a pre-production system, and they copy the production data always, like weekly once. They copy the data weekly once. That means it is always have the production data. So whatever the data is there in the production system day to day, that is every week it is copied, so that if you want to test any scenario, if you want to test any project scenario, if you want to test any kind of enhancement, if you want to test any kind of report, if you want to test any kind of modifications or interface, though the data, the test data, whatever you want to test, if the data is not, even though it is not available here, this should be having. That's why they have this landscape. Sometimes some other people have the sandbox, which is again that pre-production system. It's called a sandbox in a sense, like it's always refreshed and you can play like anything. Whatever you want to do, you can do on that system. Nothing going to impact. So like this is the typical landscape. And coming back to master data and the configuration. So the difference between master data and the configuration. So now what we did, we just created a customer. So when you created a customer, what I mean, let us say this is a development system. Okay, you created the customer in the development system 1229. 1229 is the customer which you created in the development system. So if you want to have the same customer in the quality system, what you need to do? This is a master data, right? The customer master data. Customer is a master data. If you want to have the same customer in the quality system, what you have to do? If it is the master data, you have to go to the quality system, like in the typical system, you have this is ECC development system, okay, and ECC quality system and ECC production system. You have 3 systems, okay. Based on this landscape, if your company's landscape is development system, quality system, production system, the company is having only 3 systems. You can see here ECC development, ECC quality, and ECC production. You see the 3 systems. Then what you need to do? So if you want to have the same customer in the development or quality or production, what you got to do? If it is the master data, like customer, material master, customer material information record like pricing master, okay, or output master. If you want to have this master data in any other system, what you have to do? You have to recreate one more time. You have to recreate one more time for a test purpose or whatever it is. So that means master data is the system specific. Okay, is the system specific. So if you create one customer here, if you want to have the same customer, you have to go to the quality system and you have to create the customer again. If you want to same customer, you want to have the production system, you have to go to the production system and create one more time. That is master data. Okay, but whereas if it is a configuration, master data, you created the customer 12229. Okay, and if it is a configuration, you know what happens? We'll see that, because it's always good go to see the practical and then the discussion. Okay, so what is the configuration? You are familiar. Okay, where do you need to go? You need to go to the SPRO IMG to configure anything in the background. Configuration settings are the background settings. Okay, I will also explain one thing. Okay, and if I go and like sales and distribution, if I want to configure a small thing, I wanted to configure master data related things. Okay, customers. So I wanted to configure customers in payment terms. I wanted to configure payment terms, not the billing schedule. I wanted to configure the payment terms. Okay, so payment terms are nothing but the terms of conditions between you and your customer, your company and your customer, to make the payment. Okay, so I wanted to copy these existing payment terms. and create a new payment term on my name, on our own project specific name. So if you want to create your own configurations, what is the naming convention you need to use? Either you need to use the Z, that is Z, or the Y. Whenever you wanted to make your own configuration by copying the existing one or by creating a new one, it has to start with the Z, that is Z, or Y, Z01 or Y01, whatever it is. Okay, so just change the name for our reference. Okay, this is the configuration what I made. I'm saving it. Please observe it. What is going to happen? So let us say I'm doing it in the development system. So did you get this message when you created a master data? Did you get this message when you created a master data? Please, Nandini.
Yes.
Vivek. Did you get this message when you create the master data? When you create the customer master, did you get this message?
No.
No, because you are correct. Because it is a configuration. When you do any configuration in the background or in the system, it creates a customizing request or it creates a transport request. What is this number? It is a customizing request or the transport request. What is this request? This request number, like 4, 5, for example, if you want to, it is storing in the previous configuration transport request. If you want to store this specific terms of payment in a different transport number, okay, you can say what you are configuring. Configuration of payment terms on, like just for your reference, February 8th, 2020. Okay, to remember what you did and what date you did. Anyway, that request number is having all the details, but just for your reference, without going inside, you can say just looking at. So when I save it, what is going to happen? The system created a transport request. What is transport request? Basically, the transport request contains all the changes, all the configurations, or all the system changes what you do in the background. That means whatever the configuration configurations, new configurations, or the configuration changes what you made to the system will store, in the form of transport request. So what you can do, for example, let us say you did the you did this configuration in the development system, okay, and system gave you the transport request. This is the transport request, okay. For payment terms configurations, the system gave you the transport request. And now the question is, if you want to have the same payment terms Z001, if you want to have the same configuration Z001 in the quality system, so what you have to do, what you can do, so do you think you need to go to the quality system and create one more time? No, the configurations are not like that. So this is storing, this is already containing containing your configuration, right? You transport this request, you transport the transport request, you transfer, you deploy, you move this transport request to the quality system. When you move this, whatever the changes, like Incoterms or whatever the changes, whatever the new configurations available in this transport request, every configuration, the change configuration or the new configuration or whatever the configuration you made and stored in this transport request, when you deploy to the quality, all those automatically available in the quality system. You don't need to create one more time. That means the configurations are not created in the individual system. You don't do that. When you do it you only do it in the development system. All the configurations you do it in the development system, and then you test it, and then you test whether it is working good or not, and then you move or deploy or transfer the transport request to the quality, and again you test it, and if it is good there, then finally on a fine day you deploy the this transport request to the production. Then what happens? Whatever the changes you made here, okay, for example, here we did only terms of payment. For example, I wanted to do something, I wanted to create Incoterms also. I wanted to create new Incoterms also, okay. So this one, what I wanted to do, I wanted to change it to the ZFR, okay, and see what is going to happen. When I'm trying to save, the system is trying to save the Incoterms also in the same transport request. If I am okay, what I can do, I can save in the same request. And now, so what this request contains? This request contains payment terms configuration, new payment terms configuration, that is Z001, and also this request contains the changes of or the new configuration of, okay, Incoterms, that is ZFR. So now whenever I deploy the change to the quality system, what is going to happen? This Z01 automatically created. I don't need to create, or you don't need to create. This automatically available. And whenever I transfer, this one, sorry, the same transport, this also, this ZFR also available. And whenever I transfer this transport request to the production, again the same thing available in the production as well. So this is what the configurations are, not the system specific, okay. When you do the configuration in one system, you can deploy, you don't need to do it one more time. You are storing, or all your changes are holding or storing, okay, in the form of transport request, and whenever you want it to move, you can move this transport request to the system wherever you want. So generally what happens in the projects, okay, we do all the all the changes, whatever the new configurations, whatever the changes we made to the system, we keep one transport request, and simply you just move one transport request, then all the changes or all the new configurations, whatever you do in the background, will be automatically available in the quality, and then when you move to the production, we call it a production system. So it's moving is called some people call it as moving the transport, some people call it as deploying the transport. deploying the transport, deployment. Some people call it as deployment. Some people call it as moving the transport from the one system to other system. So basically, this will take care by the basis team. That means the configuration will be done by you. The configuration will be done by as a function consultant. We do the configurations, but when we do the configuration, system create a this number, transport request number. So in 50% of the companies, the transport request will be moved to the one system to the other system by the basis consultants, because you request, there are different tools, like we have like change miner, we have like Revatrack. There are different systems, like we have Mercury. So we have different tools. We have different tools to deploy these transport requests or to deploy the changes from one system to other system. Okay, different companies use a different system. HP is having their own tool, and Mercury is one tool, and even like Change Miner is one tool, or Revatrack is other tool, and SAP is also having their own tool, that is a CHAM, change request management tool. Okay, like this, there are different tools which we deploy, and in some cases, basis will take care of deploying the transport request from one system to other system. In some cases, you yourself can like deploy. That means when you use a tool and click on the transport request, it will be automatically deployed to the further system or next landscape. Okay, so this is what configuration. Okay, you understood the difference, the one basic difference, and the next difference is the master data is taken care by the business users. The master data is always creating the customer master, creating the material master, creating the pricing conditions, creating the output master, creating the customer material information record or output records, output condition records. These things, all the master data elements will be taken care, will be handled by the business users. When you work for a client as a consultant, as a functional consultant, SD consultant, so your business users will take care of all the master data and all the configurations, whatever the configurations we are doing in the background. Okay, SPRO, whatever the SPRO configurations, that will be done by the or us. That means consultant, SD consultant, or like all the functional consultant will be responsible to take care of this configuration. That means all the SPRO work will be taken care by the functional consultant, like configuration of the document type, configuration of the item category, configuration of like Incoterms, payment terms, whatever the configuration it is. Okay, that means whatever the value is required for our business users while creating the master data, all those things will be created or will be configured, will be defined in the SPRO level. Okay, for example, what I did, we configured the Incoterms, right? We configured the Incoterms. So now, if business user go and try to, okay, create a customer. Sorry, not that transaction. Let me. So I'm trying to create a customer master. Okay, when I try to create a customer master, okay. Now, previously what Incoterms are available and now what Incoterm is we created. So if business user asked me one new Incoterm ZFR, so is it available now? Right? It is available now. So previously is it available? So previously only this list is available. Now what we did, we just created a new Incoterm. That means your business user asked you, I need a new Incoterm ZFR. And if they ask you, I need a new Incoterm, like a copy of, if business user asked you, while creating the customer master record, while creating the master data, the business user understood that he wanted to have a new Incoterm, which is a copy of cost, insurance and freight, that is CIF. Then what I can do, I can go here, okay, because I am the consultant, I am responsible to do all the background configurations. What I can do, I can copy this and the change name to JF, and I say it is JF, okay, and I save it. It stores my configurations in the previous transport request, okay, and when I come back, okay, and go back and come again, VD 01, okay. Now if I go and look at what is it, was it available previously? Now it is available, because that means whatever the elements, whatever the components required for business users, who is configuring this activity. Creation of the customer master is the activity of the business user. And for the business users, or the business process owner, or business user, or end user, or power user, there are different type of users. So when your business users need something while doing the master data or while doing the transactional data, for both, transactional data is also created by the business users, and master data also is taken care by the business users. As a consultant, we are responsible to create only the configurations. But we need to know, as a consultant, you need to know how to create the customer master. You need to know each and every part of customer master. You need to know each and every part of metal master. You need to know each and every part of condition master, or like all the transactions. You should be master there. You should be expertise there. But you will not create. You have to help them. The business users or the business process owners are responsible. They are the primary responsible to create the master data or the transaction data. We help them. What kind of help? Based on their requirement. They will tell you, for our business process, we need 10 Incoterms. They will tell you. So for my business process, I need 10 different Incoterms, or I need 10 different payment terms. You get that requirement. Then what we do, we go to the system, we go to the SPRO, we configure, and we made those 10 Incoterms and the 10 payment terms are available for the business to start using. Where they use those Incoterms and the payment terms while creating the master data, and also while creating the transactional data. While creating the day-to-day transactional data, they use the Incoterms, they use the payment terms. So for that, we need to configure, or we need to do the settings in the background. Those settings are called the configuration settings. We do the configurations in the background based on the customer requirement or the project requirement. You understood the difference? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, okay. So this is master data and the configuration data. So now in the today's class, we are going to talk about item category configuration. So in the previous class, we discussed about what are the control settings of sales document type configuration. What kind of controls the sales document type, has in the sales order processing. What kind of control settings the sales order is having. That is what we discussed in the previous. That means you did many settings in the sales document type, and those settings are controlling in the order processing. You remember? You all remember, right?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. So in the similar way, okay, let me go there. Let me go to the VA01. Let me try to create one more sales order. I think maybe next week we create our own organizational structure. Okay. Next week we create our own organizational structure. That means we create maybe it takes 2-3 classes. We completely dedicated to system, creating our own sales organization, creating our own distribution channel, creating our own company code, creating our own like shipping points, everything we configure, and then it is better to start using our own data. Otherwise, if I select here and there, it's getting sometimes we are getting some errors. Okay, I am creating the sales order. No. Okay, so when you create a sales order, you understood that based on the sales document type what you selected in the previous screen, based on the sales document type what you selected here, you understood that the sales order has some control parameters. That means the document, you understood that the document type configurations, the document type control settings, or the document type configuration settings are controlling the sales order process. Am I correct? You understood that, right? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of control settings? The document type is determining PO date in the order processing. Okay, the document type configuration control settings, those settings are determining the PO date, and also the document type control settings are determining the requested delivery date, right? And also the document type control settings determining the pricing date. And also you understood that the document type can have the delivery block, or the document type can have the billing block, right? We have seen. Am I correct? It also controls it. Okay. And also what it controls, the document type controls how the item 10, 20. For example, if you have 5 items, you understood that how you can give the number. You don't need to give the number. When you enter the 5 items, the either system can give 10, 20, 30, 40, whether the system can give 100, 200, 30, 300, 400, or it is based on your client. If your client asks you, my item number increment 10, 20, like it has to be difference of 10. Then you can put in the configuration of the document type like 10. Then the system increments the item numbers by 10. If you say 100 there, then the system will increment the item number 100, 200, 300, 500, 10. 10 items. If it has 10 items, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, like 1000. Like this, the item number increment there. That also controls. So like this, all these controls are coming from the document type what you select in the order creation type. Okay, that is previous screen. Are you clear with that what is controlling the document type? Okay, now let me go inside. Okay, let me show you in the today's topic. That is, I am entering the material quantity, and I am entering the one more material and the quantity. Okay, so now you can see that whatever I told you, that item number increment, let it come. Okay, so now what happens? Why it is giving 100 and 200? Because in the configuration of the document type, I specified the item number increment by 100. Okay. Now, and also what is controlling, whether it has to display the customer material number or not, that is also controlling. Okay, now you see something called, what is it? It is called item category. So how it came? or and also what it is influencing. What is the importance of it? First of all, how it came, that is the one question. Okay, and the second question is why it needed. Why it needed in the sales order. So first of all, we need to understand what is this item category. We need to understand what is this item category. We need to understand what is this item category, and then we need to understand what control settings it has, or how the item category is controlling the sales order. We need to know, and also how it is coming. In the last part, we need to understand how it is coming. First of all, we need to understand what is this item category, and then we need to understand what it is influencing or what it is controlling while doing the sales order, and then how it is automatic. We need to understand how it is automatically determining in the sales order. Did I enter this?
No.
No, right? It automatically came. So that's why we need to know, right, how it is coming automatically. You need to know each and every part of sales order. What is coming, how it is coming, from where it is coming, okay, what source, what configuration, what master data, like this. For example, how the payment terms came. Did I enter the payment terms? Did I enter the encode terms? How this came and when it came?
Sales document types configuration.
No.
Sorry.
We
No.
did not maintain anything in the sales document type, right? The payment terms,
Oh, yes.
encode terms, where we maintain. You already seen just before. We maintained in the sold to party, right? Customer master, right? When I create.
Yes, in the master, yeah.
So that means, let me show you. I'm creating the sales order. Okay. And now is the payment term available?
No.
No, right? See what is going to happen. If I enter the customer master, what happened? It determined, right? It determined.
Yes.
So that means what? These payment terms and encode terms are coming from where?
The master data?
So that means, let me tell you this. Your sales order, the data in the sales order, the data determination in the sales order processing, or the data in the sales order is determined from the different sources. So one is from the configuration of the data during the sales order is determined based on, one is the master data like this, and the other one is the configuration data. It can determine the data from some it takes from the master data, some it takes from the configuration data, right? So what is the configuration data? Like PO date and requested delivery date, pricing date, delivery block, building block. So these kind of things are coming from the configurations. And then like encode terms, payment terms, okay, and maybe some other details in the shipping conditions, okay, shipping conditions like complete delivery or not. These things are coming from the master data, okay. And now, so let us see, is item category available now? No, right? So if I enter the item and quantity, see what is going to happen. Item category is determined. So that means there is a link between item category and the material, right? It looks there is a link between material and the item category. So that is why we need to know, first of all, what is this item category? Because you all understood very well about the document type, what is sales document type, and what it controls, and how it controls in the document like order processing. Now you need to understand what is the item category, and then how this item category will determine during the sales order process and what control settings it has. Okay, for that, what you need to do. Okay, let me tell you one basic definition. Basically, item category defines the characteristics of an item. Item category defines the characteristics of item. That means this item category will tell you the characteristics of this item. Okay, the characteristics of this item means the behavior of this item. That means how this item has to behave, how this item has to behave during the sales order processing. Basically, this item category controls or the item category control settings, the item category configuration control settings, the item category configuration control settings defines the behavior of the item, how this item has to behave, how the item has to behave in the sales order processing. In other words, what are the characteristics of this item during the sales order processing. So now I will explain what is this item category controls and where we configure it. Okay, here we go. So there are different, you can use the directly T code, that is Vivo V7 configuration of item category direct, that is T code, transaction code. If you want to go menu path, go to SPRO, sorry. So IMG, okay. Now, so you can go to the sales and distribution. Sales, okay. And previously the sales documents. So previously, where is the sales document type? It is the header part. I also need to tell you, but I will tell you tomorrow class. Okay. So sales document, the header part has the information related to the sales document type. There is configuration of the sales document type, and then sales document item. Okay. Now we are talking about item part, right? So previously we talked about the header part, that is the document type controls, and then now we are talking about the item part, item related things. That's why you need to go to the define item categories, define item categories. Okay. The standard item category, the standard item category for the normal items, the standard item category for the normal items. That means no special items, like regular materials are the regular items. The regular items related item category is that the normal item, the standard items related item category is TAN. Okay, TAN, that is standard item. Okay. Now, if you go and see, you can see all the control settings for this item category. That means there are some control, it has some control settings. Okay. What does it mean? Whenever the sales order determines TAN, these control settings tell the system how this item has to behave. So if TAN comes, whatever the control settings are here, those control settings will influence or guide the item to behave during the order. That is, I will tell you. Okay, let me explain. Basically, very basic things I can tell you. What kind of items are there generally when you do the business? So you have regular sales, right? You have regular sales. Okay, and for regular sales means what? What kind of activities you do? You do the pricing for, right? You do the pricing for your items, right? I need interaction. So you need pricing for the item, right? For the normal item, for regular sales.
Yes.
And then if it you do the billing, right? You perform the billing, right? Am I correct?
Yes, madam.
You perform the
Yes.
billing. And also, like you can have like you do the delivery, right? You do the delivery. You do the delivery, you do the pricing, and you do the billing. Okay. And also sometimes you wanted to determine the cost for your item. You wanted to determine the cost for that item. You wanted to see the cost of item in the sales order, right? Sometimes you wanted to see. So this is the normal item behavior. So we need the we need the pricing, we need the billing, and we need the delivery, and also we need we wanted to see the cost of that item during the order processing. So now the point is, so whatever the things you need for your item, those control settings you can define in the item category. For example, okay, let me go back. So this is the normal item. So for example, if I have free of charge item, that means I'm not charging anything. Okay, that behaves in a different way, right? If you have free of charge item in the sales order, is it behaving in the same way how the standard item behave in the sales order? No, right?
No, it would not.
Behave in a different way. No price, no billing, right? No price, no billing. For example, if I go and see here, is it, for example, if you look at the billing, is it the billing relevance? Is this item, that means if your sales order, determines item category TANN, if your sales order determines item category TANN, okay, then will the system bill that item? Will the system create the billing for that item? No, because you already specified in the billing relevance of the item category. No billing, it's not relevant for the billing. If you say it's not relevant for billing, then what happens? The system will not bill that item. That item is not relevant for the billing because it's a free of charge item. Okay, and then if pricing, if you say, okay, it is not relevant for the pricing, if you say no pricing, or if you say free of charge pricing for free goods 100% discount, then it determines the price, but it gives 100% discounts immediately. It gives 100% discount. Or if you say no pricing, the system will not determine the price at all. So that means what is controlling your item? What is controlling your item during the sales order process? The item category configuration. So whatever the item category determine here, we will talk how this item category will determine. We will talk tomorrow. But try to understand what is this item category and what it controls. So basically, the item category controls the behavior of the item during the sales order process. That means how an item in the order has to behave. That means whether this item is relevant for the pricing, whether this item is relevant for the billing, whether this item is relevant for the delivery or not. Like that, we need to specify all the item related settings. Your item behavior, or item characteristics, your item of the sales order characteristics has to be defined in the item category configuration. Not only these two, there are other things. Okay, let me go back. Now I will explain one by one. Okay, go to the standard item. Okay, first of all, so the standard item is always relevant for the, okay, is always relevant for the billing, that is delivery related billing. So how the standard items? The standard items are having order, delivery and billing, right? Order, delivery, billing. So since it is standard item and it has order, delivery, billing, so what you are doing, you are telling the system, okay, it is delivery related billing. You can tell that. And then pricing. So since it is a standard item, so what you are telling? You are telling pricing standard. The pricing relevance, it is a standard. Okay, and then so whether schedule lines to understand. Okay, Let me, okay, now I'm in the sales order. Okay, there is something called, we'll talk about schedule lines later. Okay, what is this? While creating the order, what the system is showing? The system is showing the delivery date and the system is showing the delivery quantity. What is the order quantity? Order quantity is 10. And then is the 10 quantity is confirmed or not?
Confirmed.
Is the 10 quantity is confirmed for the 2/3/2020. For it looks it's in the past date, but it is confirmed by that means the stock is available. So this is called schedule line. Sometimes if the stock is not available, if I go and put it looks the schedule line category is different. Let me see. Okay, it's because of this. Even if I change it, I'm trying to create a situation where the second schedule lines. Okay, enter the too much quantity and the price field is okay. I think this is not the right example. We'll see later. So this is called schedule line. So even in the item category, you can specify whether the schedule lines are allowed for this item, whether the schedule lines are allowed for this item or not. And then you can also specify whether this item is relevant for delivery or not. So basically, for example, for normal case, okay, for the normal case, you do not need to touch this. Because the standard item by default it is relevant for the delivery. But for example, if you have any text item means what? If you want to maintain any text for your items during the order processing, which has to pass on to delivery and which has to pass on to further documents. Okay, you wanted to maintain a text for your item because it needs some kind of text information like handle with care or like some kind of shipping instructions, right? You see, sometimes when you receive any product from the Amazon or any through any channel like any online or when you go and buy it, so it always comes with some shipping instructions or that even for example the assembly instructions, right? You have that guidance guidelines how to install it. So that kind of that the text item also you wanted to include. If you want to include the text item with your actual item, with your main item, okay, and if that has to have that, if that item also is relevant for, if that item is also relevant for the delivery, then what you can do, you can activate this. That is item relevant for the delivery. You get my point? In the normal conditions, all items are relevant for the delivery. Normal condition. But if in case it is a text item, if item category is a text item category, and if the text, generally the text is not relevant, generally the text items are not, generally not all the text items are relevant for the delivery because they are only required at the order time. If in case, try to understand, if the text item also relevant for delivery, then you need to check mark. If it is a first thing, if it is a text item category, okay, for example, if I go back, okay, and look at, if I go back, okay, there is a different item category for the text. You just stop me wherever it is. See, it is TX. It is a text item. So that means if we have any text items in our sales order, what item category will you determine here? Here TATX item category will determine, and if this text item is relevant for the delivery, then you make this as a check mark. Okay, so if you check mark means the text item is also available while doing the delivery, since it is relevant for the delivery. Along with the main item, the text item is also relevant for the delivery, and it will be available in the delivery processing. Okay, so that is what, you know, this is not actual relevant for the delivery. This is not actual relevant for the delivery. And then returns, whether this item is allowed for the returns. For example, free of charge item. Free of charge item. What is that? TANN, right? Free of charge item. So standard item, okay. Standard item is you wanted to allow the standard items. You wanted to allow delivery returns, right? Hello. If it is a standard item, you wanted to do the. If it is a standard item, you wanted to do the returns. But if it is a free of charge item, do you want to do the returns? You don't allow, right?
No.
You just
No.
tell them you wanted to keep it or just throw it. It's an additional burden to the company. Am I correct?
Yes.
Hello? Vivek.
Yes, Venkat.
Vivek. Vivek. Vijay. Are you there?
Hello. Yes, Venkat, I'm here. I'm hearing.
Nandini, can you able to hear me? Umair, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. So if it is a standard item, it is relevant for the returns. If it is a free of charge item, we don't need to allow the returns, right? So that means what we can do, if you specify in the item category, for example, for the free of charge item, in the item category, if you specify this is not relevant for the returns, that means if you don't do the check mark, when you try to do the returns, will the system accept you to do the returns? You understood? The system will allow the returns for the items. The system will allow the returns for the items which are having the returns relevance indicator in the item category. You understood?
Yes, Venkat.
The system, when you try to create a return sales order, system allows the return for the items. System allows the returns for the items which are having the item category indicator relevance in the item category. If item category relevance is not there, will the system accept for the return process?
No, it won't. No, it.
So that is what it controls. Okay, that means it controls whether this item category is relevant for the billing, whether it is relevant for the pricing, whether it is relevant for the whether the schedule lines are allowed or not, whether it is a text item, it is relevant for the delivery or not, whether it is a whether the item is relevant for the returns or not. Okay, like this, whether you want to determine the cost for this item category in the order processing. Like this, all these control settings. These are the main control settings, and then we also have like incompletion procedure. We also have incompletion procedure. That means for this item category item, for this, let me, I think I'm getting noise. Okay, for this item category item, what fields are mandatory? For this item category item, what fields are mandatory and what fields are optional during the sales order processing? For for this item category items, what fields are mandatory, what fields are optional. Okay, that incompletion procedure we can assign. And also for this item category items, what partner determination is relevant. That means what partners are mandatory, what partners can be determined in the order process. For example, if I go to the item, I can see partner data. Okay, so how many partners are determined for this item? How many partners are determined for this item 6227? Sold to party, bill to party, payer, and ship to party. Because why? I assign the party determination. I do something in the background that is called configuration. Since I assign the party determination n, which is standard, based on this party determination, okay, the system is determining these 4 partner functions. Okay, that is it controls. You understood? And then the text determination. So what text items are mandatory, and how the text determination has to be done in the sales order processing for this item type or for this item. That is also tells you. So like this, Sarath, there are some other configurations, but it's too early to understand. But once you are in the middle of the stage, then we'll come back to discuss all the fields, because the other things you may not able to understand at this moment. Okay, you need some background. In order to understand what is this configuration strategy, what is this ATP, and other configurations, the knowledge what you have is not enough to understand. That's why we'll stop here for the configuration of item category, and then when we are middle of the concepts and wherever it is required, then I will come back to this item categories or the document types, whatever we did not cover right now, we will discuss that later. Okay, I am saving it. Okay, so this is what item category does, and what is item category, and what it controls, and how it controls the behavior of an item in the order processing. Okay, in the tomorrow morning class, what we are going to do, we are going to see how this item category is determining. So there should be some control, right? There should be some background settings or the background process which is determining item category. That we will see tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, Venkat.
See you tomorrow same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat.